Penny, it's good to chat with you again. What do you believe? I know you're dialed in on the Democratic side. What do you believe will ultimately get passed by this Congress?
Look, what I know is that there's agreement that we have to help the people that are hardest hit in our country. That means there's more that needs to be done for our workers. We have 10 million workers who are still out of work that were working in the first quarter of 2020. And we had very disturbing news last week in that the jobs report were 140,000 people lost jobs in December, normally a time when jobs are created. And so that's telling us that our recovery is stalling and that action needs to be taken. Making sure that we help students who are trying to better themselves and put themselves in a position to be able to become a part of our economy is essential. Keeping people so that they have their housing and they have food, these are fundamentals. And so I think there's a general recognition that these things need to get done in the next stimulus bill. The other is really understanding
Penny, let me jump in just for a second. I want to sort of dissect this piece by piece. Certainly on the business side, you got to keep people in their home first. Try to keep them employed or keep their business going. What does student loan relief and the potential moral hazard there have to do with stimulus in the immediacy? I could see where it benefits 5 and 10 years down the road.
We need to make sure that look, it's another way of helping those folks who are most at risk, is to make sure that they don't default on their student loans, which has a huge repercussion for someone in terms of their credit rating, in terms of their ability to participate fully in the economy. So it's a very important part of the mix to make sure that those people who are either in our educational system or just out of the educational system, who are really the most vulnerable right now during this time, that they're not thrown, off course for a long period because of the crisis that we're facing.
Yeah, although I would say that people who probably paid off their law school loans or whatever it was 2 years ago are going to be a little bit frustrated, but let's move on from that, Penny, if we can. Listen, you are originally from Chicago. Andrew Cuomo, the New York governor, tweeting out about an hour ago that basically we can't lock down until the vaccines are fully rolled out. We won't have anything left to open. That was his term. Chicago, many of my friends who live there say the same thing. How worried are you that no matter what stimulus gets passed, we are beyond the point of return for many of those amazing restaurants and small businesses in the Windy City and other places?
I don't think we're beyond return. I think, first of all, we have an extremely robust team that's been put together by President-elect Biden to address the crisis, to address the COVID pandemic. And we need to get folks vaccinated. That's number one in terms of restaurants, hospitality, travel, the service industries, which have been massively hit. And that's a big part of the 10 million jobs that ought to come roaring back if we can get the pandemic under control. So that's job number one, is to address the pandemic. Job two is what we've been talking about, which is recognizing we have to make sure there's a bridge for both the individuals and the businesses so that they are there at the end. I mean, yes, unfortunately, there are many small businesses that will not return, and that's tragic and horrible. But we need to help those that are doing their best to stay alive during this time, to make it and to re-blossom once we've got a vaccine in place and the economy is up and operating.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.